In Germany, there's a city named Hamelin, whose most honored ancestor is, of course, the Pied Piper of Hamelin. And in Hamelin, every 3 years, they offer a prize, considerable prize, to the best children's book written in the world in that period of time. And a few years ago, that prize was awarded to Amy's Eyes, which was written by Richard Kennedy of Newport, Oregon. Richard has theatricated a little piece of Amy's Eyes. How do you like that? For our show tonight, the scene is this. The good ship Ariel is sailing for golden treasure and is pursued by a ship of pirates. Well, the crew of the Ariel is made up of monkeys, ducks, chickens, geese, whatnot, dogs, cats, and even a doll. And as we come into the story, Davy Duck is fomenting a mutiny aboard the good ship Ariel. Amy's Eyes.
So what'd you say to him then?
Oh, I told him to ship out, that's what I said. Ship out, I said, and off he went. And best he did too, or I would have given him a clout.
That's what I told him. Let me have that bottle. That's exactly what I told him. But he'll make trouble yet. He can lay to that.
Well, I wouldn't blab on a shipmate, but I got the eye on that Davy Duck.
Chicken and turkey is in on it with him. That's what he said.
I never took to him anyhow. He talks all smart and sassy in the forecastle. But you see how he scuttles around when the captain's on the deck? Like he can't scribe low enough, with all his yes sirs and you're the captain, sir, and all that slavish muck. Do your duty, I say, and you can stand fast to God or men.
Aye. Are you gonna keep that bottle for yourself? Aye. But he made some sense the other day, talking about tails. You know, there was something to that after all, like he said, and it's something to think about. It's those without tails that make all the trouble in the world. But in mind, them pirates chasing us.
Well, there might be something in that, but you call that a tail a duck has, or chicken, or turkey? I mean, you say those are tails? I mean, when you get right down to the bottom of it, more like fat noses with feathers stuck in them.
Aye, they ain't true tails. Not like the dogs or the cats, or even donkey or goat or pig come to that. Aye, that's what I told him. Shove off, says I. Come up to me in his fancy jacket, talking all about how us with tails has got to stick together. Then he turned around and wagged at me with that little nose in his rub.
Now, if he was talking about a working tail...
That's it! That's it! That's when you can begin talking about tails. When you can hang on a yard arm with it. Not that I mean to say anything low about the dogs or anything. Good shipmates that they are.
Why, they got good tails, though they don't do much with them, but wag them back and forth. You might say that ain't much, but it gives me a sort of good feeling to see it, you know.
Aye, them's fine boys, them dogs. Disposition, that's what they got. Them cats is all right, too. They don't talk much, but they got a way of letting you know how they feel by flicking their tails around.
Expressive, that's the word for it. Is that a bottle you got there?
But I got my eye on that Davy Duck.
And I got the other eye on him, mate. Over the water and over the lea and over the water to Charlie. Charlie loves good ale and wine, and Charlie loves good brandy, and Charlie loves a pretty girl as sweet as sugar candy.
stuck here, miss. Do you hear me, miss? Well, supposing you do, I'm happy to make your acquaintance. Haven't seen you about these few days. I've been taking notice of you. But certain other things about this here I have. Now, give a fair hearing to me, and I'll say a few words about what's fallen out for the future of this ship, so ye can set your course as best suits your fortune. Chicken's on the watch. He'll give a whistle if anyone pokes nearby, so ye can listen freely, miss, and make your right judgment on what I say. You see, there's something between us, miss, that needs speaking. Well, something I noticed right off. It brings us close together like this. And I'm the sort of forward duck that dares to say it. Aye, miss. I mean to say, I seen right off you was my kind of people. Someone I could talk to and, well, get an understanding about how it is with ducks. Having no lips yourself. Aye, that's the trouble with the world. That's exactly what it is, and I can tell a fellow creature what sees it. It's those with lips that cause the trouble. Now tell me if that's not true. Aye, those with lips, that's where the misery comes from. Us without lips, we got to stick together. Oh, I see him. I know him. I seen the captain come out of his cabin after a meal, smacking his lips together as he passes by, just loading it over me, pretending like I'm not there. Like, because he got lips to smack together and I ain't. You see him puckering up their big fat lips. Aye, all of them. Sucking on apples, blowing out blubbering sounds, smacking them together, making kissing sounds. Aye, like they was the very gods of the earth. Aye, thinking like I'm giving a penny about their confounded lips. And I ask you, how's an order best given on a ship? With a quack, clear and quick and sharp? Or rather come rubbering out of a pair of fat lips? But I don't mean to say you've got to be able to quack to be of any worth, miss, and I take you like you are. It's mainly lips I'm speaking of, and I tell you straight, Captain's gonna come down a step or two before this voyage is done. Be not so high and mighty, I tell ye. Now you say, but who's to be captain of this ship if it ain't the captain himself? Do you like poetry? That's where the truth is, you know. When you want to find the real bones of what's really right and true in the world, where do you go to find it? In a navigation book? Or one on latitudes and longitudes or moons and tides and such? Not likely. But ye snatch out a poetry book to get the true bearings of your course, and then you let sail on that line. Now I ask you, who would know more about sailing? A duck or a man? Straight now, with no prejudice, who would you think knows most about the water and the wind? A duck or a man? But, aye, it's a question a thinking creature might ask and consider carefully. But don't take my authority on it. I got the gospel on that subject. Mother Goose, who never told a lie in her life. But listen, and hear it for yourself. I saw a ship a-sailing on the sea, and oh, but it was laden with pretty things for thee. There were comforts in the cabin and apples in the hold. The sails were made of silk, and the masts were all of gold. The 24 sailors that stood between the decks were 24 white mice with chains about their necks. The captain was a duck with a jacket on his back, and when the ship began to move, the captain said, "Quack, quack!" Ah, there, now do you see? That's the word of the wisest person in the world, Mother Goose herself. The captain of the ship ought to be a duck. And that's how it's going to be, miss. Just fall in with us. We'll treat you right. It may be that we could find a little matter for you to help us with by and by, seeing how you can't handle a sword. But there's others what can. And say, miss, I wonder if I could get your opinion on a thing. Do frogs have lips?
Someone's coming! Someone's coming!
He was the whistle of warning!
No lips! No lips!